Humphrey, come in. Sit down. I just want to bounce an idea off you. I've realised how to reform the educational system.
Excellent, Prime Minister.
I'm going to let parents take their children away from school and move them to any school they want.
Oh, you mean after application, scrutiny, tribunal hearing and appeals procedures?
No, Humphrey, just move them whenever they want to.
I'm sorry, I don't quite follow.
This government is going to let parents decide which schools to send their children to.
Prime Minister, you can't be serious. But it's preposterous.
Why?
Well, you can't expect parents to make these choices. I mean, how on earth would parents know which schools are best?
Which school did you go to, Humphrey?
Winchester.
Was it good?
Oh, excellent, of course.
Who chose it?
My parents, naturally. Now, that's different, Prime Minister. My parents were discerning people. You can't expect ordinary people to know where to send their children.
Why not?
Well, how could they tell?
Well, they could tell if their kids could read, write, and do sums. They could tell if their neighbours were happy with the school, and they could tell if the exam results were good.
Exam results aren't everything, Prime Minister.
That's true. And those parents who don't want an academic education for their children can choose progressive schools.
But parents have no qualifications to make these choices. I mean, teachers are the professionals. Parents are the worst people to bring up children. They have no qualifications, no training. You don't expect untrained teachers to teach. The same should apply to parents.
You mean before people have children, they should be trained?
No, that's no problem. They've all been trained to have kids. Sex education classes have been standard for some years now.
I see. Well, perhaps we could do better. Before people are allowed to have children, we should make them sit exams, written and practical. Or perhaps both. And then they could be issued with breeding licenses.
Oh, very droll, Prime Minister. No, but I'm being serious. It's looking after children that parents are not qualified for. That's why they have no idea which schools to choose. It couldn't work.
Then how does the health service work? People choose their family doctor without having medical qualifications.
Ah, yes, well, that's different.
How?
Well, doctors are... Patients aren't parents, dear lady.
Oh, really? What makes you think that, Humpy?
Not as such, in any case. As a matter of fact, I think letting people choose doctors is a very bad idea. Very messy. Much tidier to allocate people to GPs. Much fairer. Then we can even out the numbers and everyone has an equal chance of getting the bad doctors.
See?
In any case, we're not talking about health, we're talking about education. And with respect, Prime Minister, I think that the DES will react with some caution to your rather novel proposal.
You mean they'll block it?
I mean they will give it the most serious and urgent consideration and insist on a thorough and rigorous examination of all the proposals allied to a detailed feasibility study and budget analysis before producing a consultative document for consideration by all interested bodies and seeking comments and recommendations to be included in a brief for a series of working parties who will produce individual studies which will provide the background for a more wide-ranging document considering whether or not the proposal should be taken forward to the next stage.
You mean they'll block it?
Yep.
No problem.
We thought you'd say that.
We have a solution.
Oh, yes?
We'll abolish the DES. We'll abolish it.
Abolish it.
Why not?
Abolish education and science? That would be the end of civilization as we know it.
We're only abolishing the department. Education and science will flourish.
Without a government department, impossible.
Humphrey, government departments are tombstones. The Department of Industry marks the grave of industry. The Department of Employment marks the grave of employment. The Department of Environment marks the grave of the environment. And the Department of Education marks where the corpse of British education is buried.
What does the DES do? What's it for? What's its role?
I hardly know where to begin, Prime Minister. It lays down guidelines, it centralises and channels money into the local education authorities and the University Grants Committee. It sets standards.
Does it lay down the curriculum?
No, but it would like to.
Does it select and change head teachers?
No.
Does it maintain school buildings?
No.
Does it set and mark exams?
No.
Does it choose the children?
No, but it...
Well, how does the Secretary of State affect what my child does at school?
He supplies 60% of the cash.
Why can't the cash cash go straight from the Treasury to the schools or the University Grants Committee. I mean, do we really need 2,000 civil servants to funnel money from A to B?
The DES also creates a legislative framework for education.
There's not much legislation, surely. Environment could do that. They deal with other local authority matters.
Prime Minister, you can't be serious. Who would assess forward planning and staffing variations, variations in pupil population, density of schooling required in urban and rural areas? Who would make sure that everything ran properly?
2,500 private schools seem to solve these planning problems every day of the week, Humphrey, without any help from the DES. They simply respond to changing circumstances, supply and demand. It's easy.
Who would plan for the future?
Are you saying that education in Britain today is what the department planned?
Well, no, of course not.
Is there anything else that the DES does?
Well,
Well, we don't need it then, do we? QED. Quod erat demonstrandum.